Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Goldylocks Productions presents Enlightening Conversations with Pam Silver Eagle.
Good afternoon, or whatever time it is when you watch this, or wherever you are. It is Tuesday, and so here we are once again, live from the perch with enlightening conversation and some enriching, nourishing time together. So just everybody, as you all land here on the perch with me, I'm going to just give gratitude for this time together, as we know that, we are in the midst of much shifting and purging, purifying. It's so important to give ourselves this time like this, just to slow things down a little bit and be in the peace, be still, as I love to say. So I was all set up to be out on the deck where I've been doing these streams, and including streaming with Reverend Lee Chapin on her Monday show, which if you didn't catch it yesterday, Lee had myself and our friend Joanne Gaw, our sacred sister, on, and we were sharing some really special experiences that Joanne and I had adventured through last week as I went up into the Finger Lake regions of New York State. And this is where the area where Joanne was born and raised, and lives there currently with her family. And not too far away, as I am in Western PA, Northwestern PA, up along the shores of Lake Erie, the great water basin that's so sacred, is all the Great Lakes, and the importance important role that they are as a water basin, and they've been throughout the history of time. So transportation, but more than that, these different industries through our history. It's a way of travel, of course, for people, whether it be by canoe or by the great long ships, the Great Lakes, tall ships as we call them. There's in tourism. It's a beautiful space to get out and enjoy, and so important. A reminder to really get clear on how we are to be on the land, and give gratitude and help to replenish, do our part, so that we're not putting more toxins into Earth Mother and the beautiful sacred waterways all around the globe. And it all starts right in the home. As for those of you, I guess I should say, so I'm Pam Silver Eagle, if we have anybody new on board. And one other thing I should say, I cannot see who's with me, like as I am live, and so I do the best I can to go back and acknowledge and say hello to those who join, and even if you join later, I will try to respond in that way. But I cannot see on the live stream because I'm working off of my mobile phone, not a bigger device where I have the ability to do that. So if you're putting up messages for me or any guest I may have, or even on Lee's show, well, we're not able to see that as we are live. So I'm not ignoring you. I will be glad to answer questions and encourage you to reach out to me on my Facebook page, Pam Silver Eagle. So that is a place where you can find a little bit more about my services. And there it is. Ta-da! Thank you, Tiffany. And perhaps schedule a session with me as I continue to talk about the services that I'm providing, the sacred services. And I will talk more about that towards the end of this stream. But, just as we are all shifting, so too are many of the services that, hi. And that is so small for me. Much love. Thank you. I'm sending it back, and I will check in when I can. So what I was going to say is the services that we're providing, the light workers and healers, wayshowers, those two are shifting as we are being activated and as we are purging and clearing out what is no longer serving us and having greater ahas, and as our sacred gifts are being restored, and we are all evolving to our freedom and victory in the light, here to help others along their journey as well. Then again, services shift. So keep an eye on services provided by anyone that you are seeking assistance with your journey. And by the way, we all need support. It doesn't matter who or how wise or how conscious, how where we've expanded to in our ascension process. All of us call upon others to assist one another. And isn't that, after all, the way it was meant to be? And so we've talked about this on a number of my streams, and we talked about this yesterday. You want to really discern and align. You can, if you're not in a community where you feel like you have support with your ascension process, your awakening process, then these sort of opportunities to reach out on social media during this whole global spiritual retreat we've been on is a really great way. And trust whatever you were guided to, whether it be a YouTube channel, a live stream, Goldylocks Productions, or there's been so many beautiful ways people are offering their services online through social media, meditations, services, etc. So you just send up your prayers and ask to be guided to the right people that can support you and will hold you in a safe way. It's important. So back to what I was saying, this journey, I went up into the Finger Lakes region, and the Native Americans, this is an old indigenous soul. I have lived in these parts. I am back in the land where I was born and raised in the Erie, Pennsylvania area. And that has brought up for me, although I've been feeling it and bits and pieces would come to me through the years of who I've been in other lifetimes, it's really come on full strong for me since December to connect with some of the ancient chiefs at the time, from back when the great peacemaker came along, the prophet that came to the Iroquois, the people of the Iroquois, and all of these parts here, and the vision, the true vision of what peace and unity consciousness. And as I'm learning more and being guided by some of these ancient ones, and really grateful and filled with joy to be being guided by the likes of Corn Planter. He was one of the chiefs up here. He was with Joanne and I, and he was with me. Actually, he helped bring us together. He'd been with me since December. And Hiawatha, so many others, Green Jacket and Red Jacket, and some of the female wayshowers and people that women who were important leaders of council, sat amongst the sacred circles of those people. It's a perfect time, and I can see where on my own journey I've been called back to the roots of where I was from for my current family, to help heal some lineage and karma, but also to remember that this is how so many of us have lived in the past. Amongst the Seneca people, they were known as the Longhouse people. They truly lived as community. We talked about this a little bit yesterday on Lee's show towards the end, and we'll be talking a lot more, because many of you who are watching or will watch also are having a longing to come together in a community where everyone is really truly living in unity and of the Christ consciousness, where everyone thrives and everyone in the circle is equal and has input, and we respect the land, and we living off the land creating these communities. There's all over, certainly even here in America, all over the globe, there are these communities being built, and some that have been in existence and continue to remain a model for how we are being called to live. And it's not just about our physical existence, the structures of a community, and they can look many different ways, but where there would be perhaps a sacred one of these worship, but that could feel a little wonky for some of you if you've been wounded in spiritual communities, which has happened and does happen and is happening. But a sacred place where people would gather, whether you call it a temple or a pyramid or a sacred circle where people bring in the bundles, and drum circles, and really being held in community in a sacred way, and holding the whole world in a sacred way, all brothers, all sisters. So, we know that there are these pockets of places all around the world, and again, here, Turtle Island, North America, where these communities are being established now. Some of them have been being held as models for right along, and it's a kind of a trial and error, like what works, and how do we bring it together, and not using the same old model that has been the patriarchal systems that are collapsing here now in America and beyond. How do we do this? Well, we do it from a heart-centered space and with our new consciousness, and we work with Earth Mother and the many kingdoms, and we work with those who are the ascended masters, and we work with the civilizations that are here to help us, and the galactic brothers and sisters who are coming in to remind us all of these ways of creating this new Earth. This is where we're going. And so as we go step by step, day by day, my process right now again has me here and connected Lee Chapin, grateful for Lee to connect Joanne and I. And there's going to be more work up there, because in the New York State area, we are, again, if you watched yesterday, we're amongst those who have said yes to being the Wayshowers, the healers, not just to help people heal, but healing the land, healing the traumas through so many years of injustice done to so many people. And of course, the origins of the people for eons of time here, as we come to call them, the Native Americans. And we know throughout this land, Turtle Island, there's clusters and different nations, different tribes, and so important to restore the pride, restore those cultures, because the ancestral wisdom that was passed down in each of those clusters of people, those tribes, those nations, are so important. And I know that so many of those communities are also working on restoring their own pride, because through time, and certainly the way the U.S. government marched these beautiful people off, and many of us were amongst those trails of tears and the genocide that took place. And we have come back to help heal and mend the land and the people. And fair to say that in our many incarnations, we could very also have played on the other side. Maybe we were amongst those who did the harm and hurt others and stole land and wiped away the culture. And so, this is a place of the forgiveness that is taking place as well. Forgiveness is essential for each of us, for within, but also without, externally in our world, our external world. And we can, help heal all these wrongdoings. And again, all across the globe, there's just so many throughout all time, that we know it is a time as we awaken that we are in sorrow for the way we have behaved. And it's time to make amends and bring love and unity into divine love into this world. And that's what's happening now. And so this work, I am so honored and filled with joy, really, to be doing this healing work out amongst the land. And I would invite all listeners to join with me next Tuesday on the perch. I am inviting my friend Joanne Gall, who I was speaking of. Who we had about 4 or 5 days of just amazing, amazing ceremony, healing within and without. And it's an honor to know that how big, and we can't even quite comprehend the scope of the graces and the blessings that are coming through us to heal the land, Earth Month. In this New York State area, it's huge because it was the gateway into the new land, and with that came a lot of course, history of what has not been good and what has not been of love. And so this is part of our mission. And again, next Tuesday here at 1 p.m. on the perch, I will be have Joanne with me, and we will continue to share more about feeling specifically guided to share what we were called to do up at Seneca Lake, which is the no, I take that back. It wasn't Seneca Lake. It was, I think, Cuyahoga. Well, I'll double check that. But the biggest piece is that it was where the original peace tree was planted. And this is where the treaty was signed. And what we're finding out is the way the history books tell it, or even some of what you might Google, is not of truth. And so as the truth comes through, we are the truth bearers, and we are the ones and others, many who've also done ceremony, and certainly some who are currently Native American in this lifetime. But we are real excited to tell you about that journey and what a big shift it is helping to create even right now. So what my screen is once again frozen. So that's a little, I know that you all can still see and hear me. I see me in frozen mode. So I'm going to just continue on here. And I'm talking about this purifying of the land and healing. So we're all moving through this huge purification process, and we have been. We mentioned this yesterday, but we can talk about these processes that we're all going through, and everyone is in their different space. But when we have the different astros come through, that it is definitely, there are certain things we're all being asked to look at, to forgive, release, heal, so the restoration can take place. And I've talked a lot about the tools, the sacred tools of the sacred flames. And again, I'm just going to say today that many of you are also working with the sacred flames. And if you go to Mount Shasta Publishing, that's where you can purchase the book. Sometimes, messengers bring us titles or some teachings or sacred prayers from perhaps a text or a teaching, and they get kind of absorb it and feel like, all right, well, there's something there, but I'm not feeling called to it. And then later, we sometimes many times are called back to those teachings. And so again, these tools are so important, and you can use them every day. These are the sacred rays from God, from Creator, Great Spirit, however you call it, the Supreme One. And the violet flame, which so many people are using, that is the flame of transmutation and freedom. And that's what we are all. This ascension is about. It's our freedom and victory in the light. And the violet fire transmutes energies. It can be, if you're experiencing something that just need some assistance in shifting, you call in the violet flame. Saint Germain oversees the violet flame. So you just invoke Saint Germain and holy amethyst. Those of you that I don't have an amethyst down here with me. I've got a couple stones in front of me, but not one of those. So, carrying these beautiful stones with you, or having them set up on your altar. Many people have these beautiful amethysts, or as jewelry. You can adorn yourself with it. And Set the intention, though. People, setting the intention is so important in all that we do. We are the masters of our own journey, and we have all kinds of assistance and support here to help us, but we have to set the intention. And it's simply, asking and giving gratitude for the assistance and support, however that comes. And that, of course, includes the stones, the stone people, the rock people, the tree kingdom, and beautiful water. So important with the purification. If you have not seen some of my photos that I have posted, and I know I said yesterday I would post some more photos now that Joanne and I have started sharing our story. It's just beautiful photos. We were over at Letchworth State Park and up in New York State. And if you haven't visited there, it is a sacred, beautiful space. And it was created heart-centered Mr. Letchworth, and he really honored, and not just honored, he wanted to maintain the true, the authentic ways in which the Seneca lived, the Native Americans. And so they preserved that land. Mr. Letchworth has crossed over now, but it's called the Grand Canyon of the East. And again, if you've never been, you can, of course, Google it, but if you go check out photos on my Facebook page, you are also likely to receive some amazing transmissions. Just sit and be with it, breathe in those photos, and you will receive a sacred transmission. So peaceful and healing, and will help you transmute any energies that are flowing or maybe even blocked within you that you want to release. So, again, back to the sacred flames, you want to, those are great tools if it calls you. And of course, there are many, many different ways, different tools, meditations and, ceremonies. And again, what calls you as far as what resonates with you, that is, that is wise to discern and follow your own unified self, wisdom, the master that you are. I would like to read this prayer. It is from this booklet that I have mentioned before. It is accompanies the Seven Sacred Flames, the teachings that was channeled by Aurelia Louise Jones. And, if you read through some of these prayers or affirmations sometime, or even the textbook, you gotta remember, this was written a number of years ago. And so some of these things, it could seem a little dated, but, when it was written, of course, that was the times. So this publication says 2007, which is, quite some time ago. And we are awakening, and we are ascending. And so, with these prayers, these affirmations, when you send them up, you can use these as guidelines. And there's words that don't seem to apply or are outdated. You recognize them as it doesn't quite fit for where you are on your journey. Then customize your prayers, your affirmations. But these are beautiful. And again, the transmission comes through these publications. There's also, I think, 3 volumes of the Talos book. So those of you who are tuned into Mount Shasta, or if you've never heard of Mount Shasta, and because I'm speaking it, you feel the little validation, maybe some God bumps moving through, perhaps time to take a look at Mount Shasta, because many people are being called to the sacred mountain. And I can tell you that once you go to Shasta, like other sacred spaces where we acknowledge it on Earth Mother as all land is sacred, and yet some of these places where the powerful vortexes are, the ley lines, and special, just super amazing portals and so forth, there are definitely some designated spaces, and Mount Shasta is one. And so, if you feel the call, I encourage you to answer that call and go, and you will not ever be the same again. In a good way, you will be the same. You will be transmuted and set up into the next space along your journey, your eternal journey of evolution. So this this way. This affirmation that I was guided to share this morning, I'm just going to ask you as you're listening to just maybe center and take a couple deep breaths, gentle deep breaths. And either if you're laying on the ground, that's perfect. Otherwise, sitting, good. And if you're not able to do either of those, if your feet flat on the ground is really good. Ground your feet, down into Earth Mother, to the roots, the deep roots, and into the beautiful light network, the crystalline core, and see yourself as the strong tree of life that you are, with your branches reaching into the heavens, but your feet, your roots gently in Earth Mother, just the richness and the nourishment coming up that she provides for all of us when we take time and acknowledge and give gratitude to her. This particular prayer, I will speak on behalf of all those who are in agreement to join me, is peace affirmation from Archangel Uriel and Aurora. And before I read this, I'm going to take a nice sip of purified sacred water. I give gratitude. And again, important to hydrate our bodies at this time. We're shifting, oh my goodness, at the cellular level. We're shifting into the crystalline light bodies. And grateful for the water. And so, if it feels comfortable to you to close your eyes, that is divine. And I am going to just I am the gentle rain of peace. I am the manifestation of divine perfection. I am the great heartbeat of divine love from on high. I am the power of infinite love and compassion within. I am the flame of love that will sustain all. I am the realization of the power of love. I am the externalization of the quality of divine freedom. Breathing that in and exhale. I am the quality of the infinite peace and manifestation. I am the power of tranquility. I am the power of great tides of love and peace, bringing an end to the contamination of discord and despair. I am the renewal of hope in the hearts that have no hope. I am the understanding wherever there are ears to hear. I am compassion wherever there are hearts to embrace. I am freedom from the shackles of war and destruction. I am a messenger and an instrument of peace. And so I am of the I am of the I am. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Aho. Aho. And if you just stay in that sacred space, I am guided to share the gift of sacred flute. does that feel? Just a matter of taking some time. Sacred toning, sacred prayer through flute. Transmission flowing through me to you, through my heart chakra, sacred flute, all divine, all of Great Spirit. And as we come together as one, anchored in the heart, divine sacred union, we talked about this yesterday on Lee's stream, divine sacred union within the self, the merging of the divine masculine and divine feminine energies for balance, balance. For we know that as we walk on the earth this time, there's much turmoil. And there are many energies of less than love, less than light. So it is these sacred tools that we can call at any time. And the sacred tool is our flute, drum, stones, sage, sacred prayers from here, sacred teachings from books. And yet, we are all mobile. We are all sacred mobile temples. And as we move along in the midst, as my sacred brother, Michel Pascal, and his offerings, his sacred offerings, how do we find peace in the midst of the storm? It may be the storm inside your home. It may be the storm in the grocery store. It may be the storm post office. Maybe the storm within internally. We find the peace. We find our balance when we remember who we are. And we have to tap in to our divine self, that sacred union, the higher self. We do that with sacred breath. Just stop and pause. You might be behind the wheel in your vehicle. You might be at a traffic light. You may have just received some, news that really shakes you about a loved one, or perhaps employment, or something that you didn't see coming. Surprise! Oh, some surprises don't feel so good. Well, how do we recenter? These are the ways I'm speaking of, and we all have different ways. Those of you who have been tuning in, or those of you who know me, the place I always go when I truly need to get rooted, get centered, is out in nature, out amongst Earth Mother's kingdoms, where I can be enfolded and just ground and be still and breathe in the sacred air, element of air, or to get in the water and I've been talking about purification today. One of the things Joanne and I did the other day, after we did the big ceremony we'll be talking about at the Peace Tree, we both knew we were being called to the water, and it was getting later in the day. We rented a couple kayaks, did some paddling for a little bit, and a lot of floating, just to be out in the water, feet in the water, and bringing the sacred water and purifying and setting that intention and asking to be purified. So, again, we have a lot of tools and a lot of different ways to get centered and to get still and to connect to our unified selves. And the beauty is we really need nothing other than surrender, ask, pray, send up your request, and breathe. And so when we are centered and balanced, we can help others. And if we are off center and out of balance, fearful in the moment, or depressed, feeling anxious, or in physical pain, then sometimes we could use a little assistance. And the blessings are that we are here for brothers and sisters, to help our brothers and sisters along their journey. So please reach out. I invite you to reach out to me if you could use some assistance. I provide spiritual guidance coaching for the soul's evolutionary journey to freedom and victory in the light, so with your ascension process. I also provide beautiful energy activations to help raise your vibration level, so upgrades, transmissions, do that in a number of ways. I can do that at a distance. And as we know, there is no such thing as time or space. I also create amazing nature journeys. And again, currently I am in the Erie, Pennsylvania area. And if you would like to schedule a nature journey with me, not just to go out on a hike, Lee said it beautifully yesterday, is that I customize each of these. And I like to keep them for a small group. I would highly recommend for you to do a personal journey first. And then if you want to ask maybe some loved ones or friends, I also customize journeys for, say, no more than 4 or 5 people, depending on, their abilities to honor the quietness and the peace be still of the journey. On those nature journeys, I connect you with all of Mother's kingdoms. I bring through the transmissions, these new earth energies. I am an anchor for the rainbow frequencies that are coming in. So to help Earth Mother with her process of purging and ascension, but also to help my brothers and sisters who are walking here in the earth plane with me. I also, so during those nature journeys that I create, those wellness, mind, body, spirit, soul journeys, I also provide these energy transmissions, specifically if you'd like that included, infused into your nature journey, we can set that up. And it is perhaps my favorite thing to do, is to take people out amongst the land that I am so deeply connected with, Earth Mother, and love her dearly. I've been here many, many, many lifetimes serving in this way. And I spoke to her last week one day. I may have already said this Tuesday on my show. I don't remember, but maybe it was I was telling Joanne that I just started weeping. And I spoke to Earth Mother how much I love her to my core, and how grateful I am for her support of my mission and my own personal walk along the red road as I travel this lifetime and all of my lifetimes. And so I also provide, there's going to be workshops and retreats coming when we move on down the road, and we can move about a little bit easier without so many regulations from those who are trying to keep us separate. And we know that time is coming, and I encourage you in the meantime to get out and get out in the land wherever you are and be. There's a lot of people out there camping in tents, lodges. Just follow your guidance and contact wherever you feel you're being guided to go, and see what they're doing for accommodations to match your comfort level with being out and about at this time. But I will tell you, it's we are not meant to be separated. We are meant to be living our lives and breathing in the sacred breath. So when you are outside, and we know that there are some people who aren't real comfortable being at close proximity, and I honor that. And of course, there's a lot of establishments that we are required to wear something over our mouth and our nose when we are in those places. So we kind of play that game as we go. And those who may not be feeling so well, we're grateful that they are using their discernment and taking care of themselves and staying away so that we're not spreading things that, aren't healthy for others either. But don't feel like you are imprisoned. We are all free, and we are, even those who maybe have a little bit of physical limitation. I know I've been sharing that my mom is on the mend from a really bad fall. And, she's starting to get out and about, and even just time out in the yard, looking at her flowers, and breathing in that fresh air. It's what we need to be well. And so I encourage everyone to do that in the best way that they can. And we give gratitude for our freedom, for truly, we were brought here. Creator brought us here to Earth Mother. Earth Mother said, yes, I will host you. And the land will be great. It'll be rich and nourishing. And we've done a lot of things through history to pollute and to put the toxins in her. And she's still, in her generosity, Divine Mother says, come, I forgive you, and I will host you. And how can we change our ways? And this is what we are in the midst of in this great shift. And so again, connect with me at Pam Silver Eagle on my Facebook page if you haven't already done so, and then go into my Pam Silver Eagle Sacred Services Offered, my LLC page, where you can see I've got nice tabs set up there for my services that I offer currently. And again, they are shifting, so keep an eye on it. And just if you just need better or clear explanation, just connect with me on Facebook Messenger. I'd be glad to connect with you, and we can talk about how I can assist you along your journey. And so as I am looking at the clock and I'm feeling guided that I am complete this day, thank you for joining me on the perch. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the perch. And again, please leave your comments, questions, and I will get back to you when I check them. And please do share with your community my links and my work as it resonates and as you feel guided. Share with your friends and your family. It is my joy and honor to be here, to be of service at this time. So I send everyone blessings, and breathe in the frequencies of joy. Breathe in the frequencies as they are true frequencies of joy. Those are setting the intention, yes. Breathe in the frequency of love, divine love. Cultivate it here, the life force. Breathe in the frequencies of tranquility, peace. Set the intentions, go play, have fun, be with those that support you, nourish you, and help you to remember who you are in your true essence. Namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Remember, you're co-creator, so you are creating it. Yes? Everyone take good care.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron. Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.